the most impressive thing for me, I would say, is the fact that of our 9 wins, is yes, the LSU game was a 1-point win. The Louisville game was a 4-point win. The Florida game was a 7-point win. Those were all by a possession or less. Every other win this season was a blowout. Starting from Duquesne was a blowout. Boston College was a blowout. Then you go Georgia Tech, Miami, Syracuse, Louisiana. All were blowout, convincing victories. I love the fact that our offense stepped up this season. But yes, I will give Adam Fuller all the credit in the world. We were out here bashing him for the way that defense played last season. And then for this year to turn around and that performance, even in the Florida game, I'll give you credit. Yes, Florida was a good team. Florida was the best team we played after our second bye week. But give Florida all the credit in the world. But I'm going to say this right here. Mark, if you want to cut this and post this, I forgive Mike Norvell for the Jacksonville State game. I will never forget it because I will still say that's the most embarrassing loss in Florida State history. But the turnaround from where this team was, where we were, and some of our commenters have said this, saying, boy, what a difference a year makes. A year ago, we were frustrated. A year ago, we were figuring out what was going to happen. A year ago, we said, these coaches were on the hot seat. These coaches were, or were going to be coaching for their jobs this year. I am very happy with where we are right now as a program.
I'm going to put 2 more aspects on this that make the 9-3 finish even more impressive. One would be, and I talked about this in the preseason, we talked about it when we reviewed the schedule. This team had to face the toughest schedule in the ACC, both in conference and out of conference. Played an LSU team that's playing for the SEC championship game on Saturday, and played an in-conference schedule again against the far tougher of the 2 divisions, plus who they have to play. Miami didn't turn out to be a good team, but on paper at the time, Miami and who was the other game against in the Coastal?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, yeah. So anyway, it was by far the toughest schedule in the ACC, number 1. Number 2, anybody who does power rankings wants to rate the ACC. Obviously, Clemson's won all of its games, and they won all of its games, and they play in the tougher division. You'd have to rank them number 1. However, who's playing better football right now? And if the 2 teams got together the way Clemson looks right now, they got together again. I don't know that Florida State's not right now the best team in the conference.
Hey, nine of our wins were against teams with 500, or excuse me, 9 of our games were against teams with 500 or better records. The only teams we did not play, or excuse me, the teams that we played that did not have a record of 500 or better were Boston College. I believe it was Boston College, Miami, and Georgia Tech. That's pretty impressive.
And by the way, the 2013 was number 11 in the preseason AP poll.
Okay.
Josh, can we watch our language here? Josh Hutchins, please. Yes, I agree the offensive line has a lot of work to do, but please.
Honestly, I think again, a lot of stuff people are nitpicking on. If you go back and you look at probably what our offensive line's ranking is, you're going to look to see a sack rating that's like, what do you judge them by? You judge them by sacks. You judge them by rushing yards. I always tell people that's how you know if you have a dominant offensive line. You're going to have a 1,000-yard rusher. You're well over 1,000 yards right now, as it is. You've got your quarterback had plenty of time, and there are some things that I think it's unfortunate, right? Because Jordan Travis's biggest strength is his legs, but it's also very difficult to defend a quarterback who you have no idea where he's at. My son's godfather, who's an offensive lineman at Marshall, he talks about it. It's called the flashlight. Your butt, you're holding the flashlight with your butthole, and you have to make sure that the flashlight is always aimed at the quarterback when you're doing your pass pro. So he's like, you're just sitting there, but if you don't know if he's here, there, behind you, in front of you, it's very hard to keep a flashlight on somebody. So I think some of the sacks are really just more so J-Trav doing too much. I also think that the offense, and he did this against Florida, J-Trav would be a Heisman Trophy candidate right now. And Florida State would be 11-1 right now had J-Trav just used his legs and not tried to be a quarterback in that 3-game stretch. I'd argue that if J-Trav tried to play like he played against NC State, Clemson, and Wake Forest against Florida, FSU loses that game. But a lot of those big time plays came when he just didn't see anything, and he used his legs and he made them account for it. So I think a lot of people are just nitpicking on things because that's what we're used to doing and not really appreciating what it is that we have and what we've gone up against. I mean, was it Gervin Dexter for Florida? That's a grown man. Princely is there the other defensive end that kind of came on the scene after Cox left. That's another grown man. You've played against some cats, and I don't think FSU fans have kind of just sat back and just taken a woosah and just really embraced and smelled the flowers as you're enjoying this because we're so used to not having anything. But we got nice things, guys.
Talk about smelling the flowers. Jason, do you see we've got a special viewer tonight? One, Logan Robinson, a little bit under the weather, feeling like crap, to use his words.